Before this story ends, you'll see the moment Oprah nearly cracked, and the moment Tony Robbins realized that even his unshakable identity has an expiration date. If you've worked hard, followed the right advice, and still feel behind financially, you're not broken, you're just running an old script in a new economic world. And you're about to learn the hidden identity behind both Oprah and Tony Robbins' rises and how it directly shapes your earning power. Because this isn't a story about them, it's a story about who you're becoming. This is The Wealth Project, where we don't do celebrity gossip, we do celebrity success. Subscribe now if you want the breakdown on the psychology, mindset, and money moves behind the famous and successful so you can transform your own wealth. The Room of Masks. In a world flooded with AI clones, deepfake influencers, and avatar CEOs running entire brands without showing their faces, something strange has happened. Humans became rare again. Little Michaela, Prada's digital ambassador, AI rappers signed to real record labels, virtual models leading Fashion Week. The internet turned into a masquerade, millions of faces, none of them breathing. And that's when the value of real identity began to spike like Bitcoin in 2017. But Oprah and Tony Robbins are the last two giants who can still walk into a room and bend the emotional temperature with nothing but their presence. One whisper, one roar, two masks, two bosses. But one of these masks carries a hairline fracture, a crack that nearly destroyed Oprah's empire in 2023. The other, it's aging Tony Robbins out of the unshakable identity that built him. Because when you look beneath the surface, their rises weren't just because of fame and charisma, their rises were because of identity turned into leverage. And you're about to understand why Apple, Amazon, and Tesla quietly evolved beyond both identities, and why you must as well. Oprah, the whisper that owns the room. Watch Oprah closely. She never enters a conversation like she owns it. She enters like she's been entrusted with it. This is the diplomat mask. Her superpower isn't charisma, it's gravitational empathy, the ability to lower her status to raise yours. In 1993, Oprah interviewed an abuse survivor and let silence, 11 long forbidden seconds of live silence, swallow the room. 30 million households felt seen. That wasn't an interview, it was emotional release. In wealth psychology, we call this identity bonding. The moment someone sees their unspoken emotions reflected back at them so cleanly, their loyalty fuses to the source. Oprah built a $3.2 billion empire not through influence, but through the way people latched onto her emotionally. While social media platforms were teaching creators to hack algorithms, Oprah hacked something older, the way people's bodies react without thinking. I used to think this was just good interviewing until I started noticing how consistently people handed her their deepest truths and then never let go. This is why her book club explodes titles by 2,000% overnight. It's not about persuasion, it's about permission. She makes people feel emotionally safe enough to say yes to a new version of themselves. And when someone feels safe with you, they let your ideas rewrite their reality. But the diplomat mask has a dark side. When people believe you're one of them, the moment you're not, they turn. And that moment came for Oprah in 2023. But before we enter that fire, you need to meet her rival. If Oprah's identity made something click, the way she moves, the way she builds trust, tap like so I know you feel it. And tell me in the comments, do you recognize any part of her in yourself? Or might you recognize any part of her rival in yourself? Because the second mask is coming, and it's nothing like hers. Tony Robbins, the roar that breaks the room. Tony Robbins doesn't whisper. His identity is a jolt, a system reboot, a controlled demolition. This is the catalyst mask. He raises his status not to feel powerful, but to pull you up through the force field. His events mimic a battlefield. Lights, drums, shock language, adrenaline spikes, the same neurochemical cocktails athletes chase before a title fight. In 2006, he stopped a man mid-sentence, clapped inches from his face, and thundered, "That's a lie." The crowd froze. The man broke. The mask did its job. Catalysts thrive on disruption. They don't make you feel safe, they make you feel awake. This is what high-level identity looks like in motion. His behavior is just his internal identity, the rescuer warrior, acting at scale. This is why Tony's $10,000 programs sell out in hours. Not because the content is rare, because the state change is. When you feel alive, your wallet feels limitless. When you watch how people actually make decisions, this is the exact moment the empire pattern reveals itself, shifts someone's state, and their decisions follow. But catalysts face a brutal truth. The mask demands superhuman energy, and time never loses that fight. In 2022, Tony's voice cracked in a seminar. Reddit lit up. Is Tony okay? Has he lost his edge? When your identity is unshakable, the first crack echoes like a gunshot. Tony knew it, which is why he poured millions into longevity research and built an empire that could outlive his body. But neither Oprah nor Tony realized that their masks were just roles in a larger game, and in that game both were vulnerable. The crack in Oprah's mask. Let's return to 2023. Maui is burning, a disaster, loss everywhere. Oprah, owner of 600 Hawaiian acres, co-launches a fundraiser asking everyday Americans to donate. The internet erupts, not because she didn't give, but because her identity of, "I'm just like you," clashed violently with reality. The diplomat thrives on closeness, but wealth creates distance. For the first time in decades, Oprah's mask slipped. This is what psychologists call identity dissonance, when the identity you show and the life you live collide. For a moment, the queen of soft power was swallowed by the same storm the rest of us face. The fear of being misinterpreted by a world that doesn't know who you really are. If you've ever been judged for a decision people didn't fully understand, you know that quiet sting. So if both strategies have fatal flaws, how do you build influence that lasts? The answer is simpler than you think, but it requires understanding one principle that most people get completely wrong. And once you understand it, everything changes. But first, Tony faces the opposite nightmare. The clock on Tony's mask. Where Oprah fears being misunderstood, Tony fears being outpaced. Catalysts burn bright, but that fire requires youth, voltage, and a throat that can roar across a stadium. As AI gurus rise, as Mr. Beast rewrites media economics, as Alex Hormozi reframes motivation into a math equation, Tony's dominance is no longer guaranteed. The catalyst thrives on being the spark no one else can replace. But the world is now full of sparks, many generated by algorithms that don't sleep. Tony Robbins needed a new identity, even if he didn't call it that. And if you're watching this, you probably feel some version of this pressure too. AI replacing the old rules, billionaires shaping the world while you're still shaping your calendar. The fear that someone younger, faster, richer is already running ahead of you. You're not lazy for feeling that pressure. Your body is just searching for safety in a world that keeps changing the rules. This is why men identify with Tony and why women identify with Oprah. One mask says be unshakable, the other says be deeply seen. But neither mask is enough for the future of wealth because the new era demands something more dangerous. The mask behind the mask. Here's the twist in the story and the twist inside you. The mask you choose isn't your identity, it's your weapon. The real power belongs to the person who knows when to wear each mask. The one who moves seamlessly between empathy and disruption. This is the strategist, the identity behind every empire. Apple is a strategist. It seduces with beauty, the diplomat, and then destroys industries quietly, the catalyst. Amazon is a strategist. It makes shopping feel safe, the diplomat, then crushes competitors without blinking, the catalyst. Elon Musk, say what you want, but the man switches masks mid-sentence. If you understand identity, the entire storyline becomes clear. They're not being themselves in one fixed way, they're using identities like tools. And here's what this means for you. Wealth isn't built by choosing a personality, it's built by mastering identity control. not the performance, the psychology beneath it. You probably already know which mask you default to: the diplomat, connection, psychology, trust, or the catalyst, certainty, dominance, disruption. But the bosses, the real ones, they don't live inside one mask. They walk through the dark room, pick the right one for the moment, and step into the world ready to be transformed. And this leads us back to the room where this story began. The room of masks. 2 masks on the wall, one whisper, one roar. Oprah and Tony each mastered one, they each paid the price for the other. But a third mask hangs between them, unlabeled, untouched, waiting. Not soft, not loud, sharp. This is the mask of the strategist, the identity architect, the person who turns psychology into power and presence into wealth. And now you're standing in front of it. So choose your next move carefully. The whisper builds empires, the roar moves markets, but the strategist builds the world the other two compete inside. And that's the identity you're walking into next. Oprah and Tony are billionaires not because of tactics, but because of identity. You now know how to use both identities, the diplomat and the catalyst, without losing yourself. And that's how wealth is built. Identity leads, behavior follows, then empires form. If this story made sense to you, something inside you is already shifting towards wealth. If you feel something click, you're not just watching, you're evolving. Oprah and Tony are just 2 identity types. There are more, some even more powerful, and almost nobody knows about them. Your next wealth upgrade is one click away with the Wealth Project. Pick our latest insight or a curated favorite right here on your screen.